Tonight's going to be good, friends. I'm
Yes.
so pumped.
I am so excited too. I'm sorry, sometimes we all need a minute. And has anybody else ever been with me on this? Because this topic, I need a minute still. Like, I still think I'm like, we're going to teach this, but I still feel like I need a minute. Anybody else with me? Where we like learned about changes and I'm like, I need a minute. So this Zoom experience, I was like, I just need a minute because I am very smart and I am meant to do this and I can do it. So I want you to start tonight with that you can do this and that you can do hard things even if you don't understand what they are yet. And no, I'm not really talking about the Zoom at this point. I'm talking about changes in our life in general. I also probably should say that I have like Skeletor hands. I just unbandaged my hands from a little accident I had this weekend and I feel like I don't know how to use them yet, but I'm really excited because I was allowed to tonight. So if I look weird, I'm sorry. I'm learning to use my hands again. So don't stare at them. Look at Nicole's hands and how she talks and not mine. So we are so excited to be here with you guys, and we're going to do a little bit of everything. And what I mean by that is we're going to talk, we're going to do some role plays, and I have loved working with Niccole because she does a great job of having people interact with us. Sometimes I feel like my team by itself, people don't talk, and I'm like, hey, who wants to share? And no one talks. So I want to make sure that it is interactive and not just us chatting with each other. We want to hear from you, and also want all of you guys to know that Niccole has prepared resources for us because she is visual and great at being creative and basically good at all things. So we should all just go ahead and give her a round of applause for being good at all things because she always impresses me and shows up. She is busy. She has 19 million kids. I say I have 15 million. She has 19 million. It's all the same. And what happens is when you are a busy person and there's something that's important to you, you get it done. And I mean, how many of y'all know that? Raise your hand if you know it's true. Like if you're busy, but there's something you find a need for, you totally get it done. So this is an example of that. We want to talk about specifically sharing in this new way without the PSK being the primary way to share, or once it goes away totally, and how to do that in person as well as online. So I want to say that clearly because I have a way more experience in person than online. I'm sure Niccole can talk to that more, but for me, it is a little overwhelming to feel like everything is always focused on how to build your brand and how to share on social media when I'm like, dude, I still plan that this world is not always going to be social distance and half the country wearing masks, that we are going to actually have like normal sharing in person again. And a lot of us already are, but I believe that the future is not just something where we are all if you love it, it's great, but something where not everyone is forced to share in the same way. So I kind of want to say that because I feel like we feel some freedom with it. How do you think about that? What do you think about that, Niccole? Am I kind of telling them why we want to do this?
I ended up unmuted. Okay, I'm sorry. You broke up that last like 10 seconds that you were talking. Tell you what? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying, like, is that what you're feeling about this too? Because I think for us, casual chat, like, guys, we don't know. We haven't done this yet. We realize when we train things like this, like there's no one's done this yet. So our training is literally us sharing past experiences, but also looking forward with a lot of excitement.
Totally. I will say that when I moved to California 2.5 years ago and really started to build like halfway through 2019, this model is the model that I used here in California, which it wasn't just like shoehorning the PSK, and we had tremendous growth in that short window here in California before the whole state shut down. So while I haven't had the freedom to do what Young Living is now offering us, like I've tasted it, I've seen it, and y'all, like, I am super pumped. I'm super pumped for your businesses. I'm super pumped for the freedom that it gives you to pursue your passions. If you were on our last call, you know that I totally geek out on this. Something else I just want to share is that Ashley and I, the way that we work, the way that we do this business is it's an extension of our lives. Like you see that in the way that I wanted to Sherry. And she's like, oh, she's drinking coffee at night. I'm like, oh, take care of your adrenals. It just flows at us, right? And when Ashley and I talk about the business, brainstorm together, and we are all this back and forth, there's really no like, what do you do about this? We're not these like bulleted green personalities. Sorry if that's what you came to this call for. We are not that, okay? But what we are is we are extremely passionate. We love to brainstorm together. We love to get feedback from y'all. And so that's what tonight is about. Like Ashley said, it's about inviting you into the conversations that we're having together and saying, hey, like we are all linking arms. Like rank does not matter in this season. Whether you're just starting sharing like last week or you are a Royal Crown Diamond, this new model is beautiful and it's going to be very natural. And there's a place for everyone at this table, regardless of what your interests are. So tonight, we're going to be talking about how to have the in-person conversation, what this looks like one-on-one, what this looks like in a group setting, what this looks like online. And you might take bits and pieces from one of those formats and say, I don't love that approach, but I love this approach. So I want to encourage you to like, oh my gosh, I'm such a home educating mom. Put your thinking cap on and see like how this applies to what it is that the vision that you're having for your business. Does that make sense? Is everybody cool with that? Ready to go do this? Awesome. Cool. All right, Ashley.
Yes.
Do you want me to just share what I was doing here first to kind of like lay a foundation to show people what's possible, and then we can do some role playing and then.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so this is not a pitch for the brochure that I made, I promise. But I do want to show you the fact that I've been doing this, and this has been my model for 2 years. And so this is what it looks like to share when you have freedom, but still saying, I need to be a little bit organized with that amount of freedom. If y'all have seen did everybody see the wellness triangles? The graphics that I created where it had like by need. So it had like stay well and there was kids. So you could have like an idea. That was just some ideas. You don't have to do that. I gave you all the template where you could go in and you could change the products. You could change your suggestions, like have fun with it, right? What this looks like for me and how I did it in person in groups. As people would come into my group classes and it was just getting to know them. I know y'all have been taught how to form people, family, occupation, recreation, motivation, right? So just chatting people up. Hey, what had you interested in coming tonight? Are you married? Do you have kids? Just getting to know them a little bit before our group if I didn't know them beforehand. And right away, like what has you interested? They would tell me like my toddler is absolutely crazy and won't sleep, or I'm super stressed out, or I have gut issues, or whatever it might be, right? So that's like definitely mental note. And then we would sit down and literally sit around a table. You hear about kitchen table talks all the time. Mary says it, like we would literally sit around tables and I would put a form in front of them. Yes, we have brochures. I will give y'all a PDF that I created before this even, again, that you can edit and make your own, totally just have fun with it. And I would have people say like, what is most important to you right now? What are maybe your top 2 things that you want to like really talk about tonight? And I had a list of things like stay well, pregnancy and babies, energy, skin and beauty, all right here, right? And I would just have the person go first. I would say, who wants to go first? And I've never, ever, in teaching like 30 plus classes like this or groups like this, I've never had it be crickets. There's always that one person that's like, I'm desperate. Like when you have a toddler that won't sleep or is like chewing on walls or something bizarre, like you're desperate to like get the kid to stop chewing walls, right? You're like, yes, help me. They came to the class for a reason. And so I would like go right there. Ashley, I'm going to use you as an example because you don't have a kid that chews walls and I don't want to like offend anybody else. So I'd be like, Ashley, tell me more about what life looks like for you. What? Did she just say her son does chew walls? I don't know.
No, I was laughing. So I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot get him to stop. It's crazy amounts. The fake son that chews walls. Keep going.
Oh, yes. There you go. And so she's talking, right? And what begins to happen as people are telling their stories is other people sitting around the table, they might not have a toddler, but they have like a rambunctious 5-year-old or their sister or their nephew or their friend or whatever, right? And so we start talking about like getting better sleep. And I'm like, oh, and this works great for teens. This works great for adults. Like these oils are great for all people. So I'm still talking to people around the table. I'm not just talking to Ashley, but I'm making Ashley feel heard. So I would begin to go down the list and be like, okay, here's like valor and peace and calming and lavender, right? But oh, mama, this will knock you out too. It's just a natural conversation, exactly like what we would do all the time. And then I also have to be like mindful of this lifestyle. And that's where that wellness triangle comes in, right? Because if a kid is acting like that, all of us at this point in our journeys know there might be something else going on. Maybe suggest a better bedtime routine, or how to get, a nice warm bath with lavender. And you begin to have these conversations working on that wellness triangle. Mama, if you haven't cut out sugars yet, maybe cut out sugars. So when you have this wellness triangle in front of you and you realize that it's lifestyle, that it's addressing a core issue through supplements, and that it's not just oils, you can literally mentally prepare yourself to work through the triangle as you're having conversations with the people. It works so well in a group setting. And what I've found time and time again is that most of the time people end up being upsold, meaning they like very rarely did I just have a person buy a premium starter kit, because almost every issue that I talk about, I'm like, everybody needs to be on line 9. Like, and I truly believe that with my whole heart. Absolutely everybody needs to be on a great probiotic, right? And I truly believe everybody needs enzymes. It's hard for me to talk about health and wellness without talking about enzymes. And so you begin these conversations, and then people chime in around the table. What happened with my son? And you have an instant community builder. Like, no more are the days of like me standing up in front of people and being like, let me read from a script. Now, that's not to say that I don't have bullet points, which I do. And like I said, I will update the PDF in the next few days for y'all. I'll share it with Ashley and she can get it out to you. Okay. That's not to say, that, I forgot what I was saying. We have a bullet that like, okay, that triggers my memory. I need to go there, lifestyle, supplements, whatever. And it is the most natural thing. And I had people who had been to like 10 of my workshops come every single time. And they all remarked, every time I come, I learn something new, because the conversation is steered another direction. Then I talk about Ashley's issue, and then I can move on to, Dory's issues, and we can talk about Dory. And I encourage people, like, write names down. Like, we are not like struggling with this stuff in a bubble. No one exists in a bubble with our issues, right? Almost everybody needs better sleep. Almost everybody needs to address stress. Almost everybody needs immune support, right? Like we just do not, like, we all have that. And so it's just a great opportunity to connect. So that's what I have. That's how I was teaching. And it works really, really, really well. Thoughts? Ashley? You're muted.
I think the biggest thing for me when I hear that is freedom. And what I mean by freedom is I love teaching about the PSK. Actually, don't like, it doesn't bother me. I like it, if that makes sense. It's been structure. It is an easy thing to do. I've written so many class scripts about the PSK, right? Like, this is, babies and oils, and it's like about the PSK. But what I feel like is a big leap for me is I always have found that's a big leap for me to be like, well, you just wait on your gut health and we'll just get it on your first ER order. By the way, ER is a monthly loyalty program where it's 50 PV minimum. And I mean, guys, you realize years ago when we first started this, it also didn't count. Thank you. It also didn't count. Like, your first order didn't count as ER. So it was like this big leap to saying, to fuel that need for you, you have to go through this PSK. And by the way, you're going to start the next month with your ER. It's going to be separate points. It was very different. And their levels of earning points were lower too. I have the sweetest kid. I'm sorry I'm saying this, but y'all, he just brought me a fabulous Ninja mocktail and a little like dried fruit snack. I love him. I mean, I love him for many reasons. Oh, and a frozen raspberry true fruit chocolate. Okay. So I'm just saying. Thank you. I got it. You want to say hi? Okay. So you sure? Thank you, Avery. So when we used to have to do that, what would happen is we would lose people. So we'd lose them on the follow-up, but we'd lose them on they didn't want the kit in the first place. So we like lost them on the like long-term, you're going to buy every month. It's going to be totally awesome for you. And they're like, what am I buying today? And you're like, well, you could buy a Ninja kit or a Thieves kit, but really everyone uses this oils kit. I know you don't want oils, but the oils in this kit are amazing. By the way, it's like Black Friday every day when you buy the kit. And it would get, for me, it actually worked most of the time. If anyone's with me, that has worked most of my business. Like, it has only not worked a few times. But what's happened is I did not have their trust. So they did not get that secondary order to help their gut health on ER the next month. They did get an ER order. And they also went inactive and then they reactivate like 14 months later with like a couple oils or a year later. And it really is a relationship where even though my goal was never to be manipulative, what ended up happening is they liked me enough that they bought something. And the something I offered was the one thing, which was the kit. And I don't know if anyone else resonates with that, but for me, it's even more exaggerated online. And that there's lots of people I message on Instagram or on Facebook where it's like a big exaggeration because basically they said they liked, what can I grab that's around me? This is hilarious. Let's pretend like this is a huge seller. They really wanted thyme oil. Like they were like, that's right. Give me the thyme. And I was like, I can't give you the thyme, but I can give you the kit. The kit is amazing. There's no oils like thyme in the kit, but that little $11 oil is not really invaluable. This $160 kit is the value. And it feels like that gap online with communication is large. And maybe this is, again, probably reducing down or going backwards from where Niccole ended. But I want you to think a little bit about the mindset that even though even though you might think you need to be trained on this new way of doing business, it's really just your mind realizing that someone who wants time might want time and other vitality cooking oils. And that might actually be all they ever want. They might not get on Subscribe and Save. They might not become a brand partner ever. They might not ever use their time, but they really wanted that oil. So same thing for like someone who wants Dragon Time and Progestins Plus. They might not want to ever diffuse an oil, guys. They might not. And that's not what we want. We want a lifestyle change, and that's okay. I think more so even a little bit like Luscious Lemon Foaming Hand Soap. People love that. Winter Nights Essential Oil Blend. People love that. They might not buy any PSK thing ever. And that's so weird. Raise your hand if you think that's weird. Actually, I would love, some of y'all might not think it, like to me, it's so weird because I just dump lavender on my hand. There's lemon in this Ninja cocktail. Like I use our PSK oils, Peace and Calming and lavender diffusing in my kids' rooms right now. Like I use them all so much, but a lot of people want what they want and they want it now. And we are in an economy where they can get it so easily from other companies. So with that being said, we want to go through and talk about the ways, role play, hopefully, and it'd be fun. I'm saying hopefully as in we're going to do it, even if it's just with ourselves. But also get your mind wrapped around, before we talk about specifically how to share in each scenario, I want your mind to say yes to this and for you to believe it's good. And believing it's good is uber important. Because if you believe this is bad, you're not going to be open to it, and you're not going to be open to building your business this way. You're going to be like, oh, Niccole's story was really unique to her. Well, it wasn't. She just said yes to it in a different time than you're having to, because she didn't have to. She chose to. We have to, guys. And when I have to as in have to make a choice. So when I am faced with a choice where I have to make a decision, I always have to say to myself, I get to do the next thing. And the next best thing for my business is to view every single person as an individual and to tailor and fit their needs as best as I possibly can. And to do that while I still can use my strengths. If your strengths all involve PSK oils, Ninja Thieves, awesome. They're our best-selling products. Do that, sister. But if your strengths, if you are a niche person, like if you're like, I really love to talk about hair care and oils and personal care products, kind of expand out from that. Or I love fitness, or I love energy, I love hormones, I love baby. Great. You can learn to read someone else's I love scripts and I love product ordering strategies. But for now, figure out what you love. Because loving the PSK oils is not a specific thing at all. It is a lifestyle overall view when you're going to get to serve people and love them in a way that truly shows up for where they are in that exact moment. I want to read Lindsay's comment out loud. Is that okay? For some of you guys, I can't see the chat. I'm so excited for this because it's how I've been sharing with people, but I've lost out on helping so many because they didn't want the kit. I'm excited for how this will help those around me. Yeah, so the PSK bundles, again, everything's flexible with Young Living, but we estimate that the PSK will sunset sometime before convention, but it could not. It could be later. That is our estimated time frame. I love that all of you guys on mute laughing because I just want to keep it really transparent there. That is what we think, what we have known through communication, but we also are flexible as a company and as individuals. So Niccole, do we want to do a little role play before we go in the ways to share? A fun one?
Yeah, totally. Just a quick note, y'all. Because we have to hold these dates with an open hand. This is a huge transition for our company. We had originally heard that the PSKs weren't going away, and then Young Living got feedback. And then we heard different dates, and Young Living got feedback. The beautiful thing that's happening right now in our company is that they're really listening to us. They're not making these decisions as suits sitting in a corporate office. They are coming to the leaders, they're saying what's actually working in the field, which has not been historically how it's gone down in Young Living. And so the fact that they're shifting and that they're really paying attention is a good thing. And then Ashley mentioned this. I'm going to touch on this, y'all. This new model is beautiful and amazing. And so, like, I know it's such a, like, overly used word right now, but it's authentic. The way that we're able to share Young Living now going forward, as soon as this transition happens, really is all about meeting people's needs. It's not about us getting a kit sale. It's not about, like, how many kits can I sell? It's how many people can I help? How many needs can I meet? And that is spectacular. And it's huge because we'll be compensated as we truly seek to meet people's needs. So yes, let's go through a role play, Ashley, and, like, what this looks like. And it totally translates to in person or through voice memos, again, voice memos online. Let people hear your voice, please. There's nothing more sterile than, like, 10 paragraphs long. You lost me. You write 10 paragraphs in a message, I'm sorry, I'm gone, boo. I don't care how great your products are. Like, my eyes are crossed. Mom of 5. I don't have time for that. So anyway, Ashley, ready?
Yeah. So what's super fun about this is, so Niccole and I, you guys will laugh because we leave a combination of words and voice memos to each other. And saying that to you, because I want you to understand something. With authentic relationships, when you're building them in your business, you will learn to communicate in ways that serves the person, but it also honors you being authentic, transparent, and loving. And realize that, like, embrace that. Realize that you probably can't always have a note section where you copy and paste everything to every person in your phone. So have an approach that is individual, that seeks to know that person, and making sure you're asking lots of great questions. And I love this point that Niccole wrote to me, and I'm going to say it and share it for her. That's still resonates coming from me, but showing compassion and seeing how it's affected their lives. So I think a great way to kind of look at that, and this is going to be awkward, but fun at the same time. Niccole, I'm going to ask you a question so they can hear you answer, and then I'm going to leave you a voice memo, and everyone's going to hear, and you're going to hear at the same time, which is going to be really weird, but I want you to think about it. So in an in-person meeting or online, I'm like, hey, Niccole, how's sleep going in your house? Wait, and also the backstory is I know that Niccole has a newborn. Well, not newborn, but a baby that we would consider a small child. And I also know she has lots of other people in her house that disrupt her sleep because they're all different ages. So Niccole, like, how is sleep going for you? How's it going at your house?
Girl, what is sleep? Seriously. Yes, my 3-month-old, she cannot be away from mama. And then I'm up early in the morning home educating kids. So I am seriously lacking in sleep.
Yeah. Again, not to be weird, but y'all think about it online. She could leave me that message, written form or voice memo, and then I get to think about it first, right? Because most of us are messaging people online, especially with a message like that. Like if I'm checking in with a new mom, and I mean new as in with a new baby, I'm probably not with her face to face, but I'm asking. She said, "Girl, what is sleep?" I am like, I'm schooling my kids, and she does not sleep through the night at all. Basically says 3 points. Niccole, you have to find a way to get yourself quality sleep, because quantity I know is not going to happen. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I would love to bring you a couple different oils to throw in the diffuser and just try them. So cedarwood, peace and calming. I'm actually going to bring you Lang Ylang to help with some nervous tension, and then orange, and just try them. I know you already have a diffuser, but I would love for you just to try that in there. And then Sleepy Eyes, would you be cool with putting that on her? Because I think that would really help down the spine and on her feet. So that's just again, we're all different styles, but my message was assuming that I had to do this because I'm trying to be authentic to Niccole. So Niccole and I are friends. I'm assuming she already has oils because our relationship, I would know if she did or not, right? Go with me? Like I know that she does or not, even if they're not Young Living. I have friends in my life that I know have oils, even if they're not Young Living. So I'm assuming Nicole's a natural mom. She is been a mom for a long time. So she has oils. Again, maybe Young Living, might not. But I'm like, hey, could I bring you this to try? Because we're near each other locally. And she can say yes, she can say no. Maybe that wasn't helpful for some of you guys. But the thing was, what I did in my simple little voice memo is I'm not telling her I have a company called Young Living and the oils in the kit are these 4 things. And I have a class next Monday night. I'll send you the Facebook link if you want to be invited. I was just like, hey, have you heard of it? I'm not sure if you have, but I think this combo would help you. And maybe that was too casual for some of you guys. We can kind of take turns doing some other ways, or Niccole can, if you want to do one with me, and maybe we'll preface with, I don't know what Young Living oils are. And I'm not natural, and I eat fast food every day, and I wash my hair with herbal essence. Game. Ready?
You don't love how Ashley gave me the hard one to now I have to answer the I'm just joking. I love you, girl. No, but the thing I want to point out, Ashley, the thing I like, y'all, that when we believe in these products, when we believe in this lifestyle, we speak with that level of confidence. I'm going to bring you this. I'm going to bring you X, Y, and Z. You need this. We need to get you sleep. It's a different level of communication. Not like, how do you feel about this? She did ask if I felt comfortable putting sleepy eyes on my baby, which that's respectful. That's awesome, right? But she's speaking with this like assertiveness about her. It's like, no, this is what I'm doing. I'm bringing it over. Like, when's a good day to drop it off? Like that is huge. That's huge. So yeah, I can totally, let's flip this around. Ashley's the person who doesn't have any natural anything going on in her world. And what do you message me with, Ashley? What's your issue?
Can we use a current one that's fun? I'm like, Niccole, this weekend I fell and I have all these like open sores in my body and it's super itchy and it's weird and I don't know how to get them to heal. So it's totally stinks, but I'm not going to make it to the gym tomorrow because I cannot hold anything in my hands. So I'm just wondering, what do you think? And please tell me the workout so I can try to do it at home.
Oh my goodness, Ashley, I am so sorry. Would you tell me a little bit more about like what your hands look like, what's going on with them?
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine how much pain you're in.
Yeah, this one is so much better. But I cut my right hand like on asphalt, and then I had some asphalt and they had to do like lidocaine shots and cut stuff out of it. But it's just like not closing because the skin's thin and I don't know what to do, Niccole. Like they want me to put a bunch of different, they told me Neosporin, they want me to take like pain medication, but really I'm doing, right now I don't know where to go with it because it's just kind of open. The other one's okay. It's just crusty and kind of healing up. So I'm really concerned about that. And then my hip kind of has an open wound too. And, I just don't know that I'm ready to use I don't really want to use medication and Neosporin. I don't really want to have it all bandaged up.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that sounds absolutely miserable. Again, I'm just so freaking sorry, girl. So you are open to some more natural stuff, like you're not using any medications on it now. If I sent you some like oils and some creams, would you want to try them? How do you feel about that?
Absolutely. I don't think I don't really want to use anything petroleum based. And I don't really think that I believe it all needs to be like covered up and restrained and not getting air. So are these things I could just put directly on the wounds?
Girl, you weren't supposed to be natural. You're supposed to be using the petroleum. We tried to be natural.
It doesn't work at all. I'm dying. Niccole, I'm dying. This is the worst role play ever. Actually,
I know. Okay. So y'all, I'm going to teach you how to buy yourself some time because what I don't want you to hear is that you have to know everything with this new model. This is one of the best tools you have in your toolbox. Ashley, I have never had this happen to me before. And I honestly don't like know what to do, I'm going to reach out to my community and I'm going to ask what they would recommend. I'm going to get back to you in like 15, 20 minutes. Is that okay? Almost always Ashley gets back to me. What this does is it gives me another like point of contact to reach out to Ashley, and it allows me time to dig around and to look into some things for her, right? So it's totally okay to not have the answer here. So if you need to send a message back to Ashley, if you need to like say, I don't know what to do, I don't even know if I'm comfortable with answering that question. That's a little bit intimidating, right? Like, what if I recommend the wrong thing and she has this open wound on her hand and it dries, who knows, all of the different things that could happen, right? And so then when I get back to Ashley, I could absolutely say like, hey, Ashley, based on what you shared with me and you wanted to get back into the gym, there are some things that I would absolutely recommend. Number one, dealing with, your health from the inside out. Sulfurzyme is powerful for that. Putting lavender like on your cut. If you're in pain, putting Pantaway around the outside. And when you back into the gym, because you hinted at the fact that you don't want to use petroleum-based products, so I think you might be interested in some more like toxin-free options. I would consider like Thieves Hand Purifier, so you're not getting any chemicals like near that cut, so your skin actually has time to heal. So to sum it up, I recommend Sulfurzyme, Thieves Hand Purifier, some lavender, and some Pantaway. The total PV on that is, what would that be? Y'all don't quote me on this. It'd be what, $80, $90. If you spend $10 more with Young Living, you would get free shipping and 24% off of your order.
Great. Let's throw in something else. I need like a lubricating thing, like something, because it's really itchy. So if you have something like that, let's throw it on that order.
Awesome. We have this phenomenal product called Animal Sense. So the fun thing about Young Living is that we have products that might say Animal Sense, but they're good for every member of the family because they have a lot of awesome benefits. And there go your eyebrows. Throw it at me.
I mean, you want me to put an animal scented product on my hands?
No. No. Well, that's like I said, that's the awesome thing about Young Living is that all of our product lines use the same essential oils, whether it's for babies or whether it's for animals or for adults. They might be in different dilution ratios, but they're all safe. So you're good to go.
So great. So Niccole, can I use all this stuff on my kids? Because I have, all the boys and they get cuts and scrapes all the time. So is this the same or would that be different?
Absolutely. We use Animal Sense ointment for absolutely everything. Hair pomade, cuts, scrapes, even our dog's paws. I mean, this product, I absolutely love Young Living for that reason, because there are so many uses for the product. You're not just going to get it for your hands and be stuck with a huge tub of stuff that you can't use for other things.
So could I use what is the Sulfurzyme? So would that be only when people get hurt? Or is that like, what's it for outside of that?
Yeah, no. So, and again, y'all, side note here, you do not have to know the answers to all these things. So I'm going to show that right now. Girl, I like all of the uses of Sulfurzyme and MSM. Like, I don't know. I can tell you how it makes me feel though. I know there's a huge difference in my skin and how fast my hair grows. I know, girl, major. Like my skin is so clear and rosy and I'm not getting breakouts as often. My nails are growing faster. It just helps with like regeneration of hair, skin, nails. Like it's awesome for the whole family. So no, keep using it even after your hand heals up.
Like daily, you use it all the time.
All the time.
I am so excited. I don't know why you never told me about any of this stuff before, because it is going to be so helpful. And I wish I would have known this was like the key to, first aid apparently, but I'm excited. If you could help me, I don't really like this whole ordering thing. It just seems hard. If you could help me do that, it would be awesome.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put together the 4 or 5 products that I recommended to you into this link, and I'll send it over to you. And all you have to do is hit the button. It'll auto populate into your cart and it's ordered. That's myYL.com. Coming, friends. That ability is coming soon.
Perfect.
Sorry, interrupted. Yeah.
I'm out of my role playing of not knowing about the products. Like, that was terrible. I'm sorry. Do y'all realize that Niccole, like I would buy, like she just put together, I want to recap that a little bit. I gave her a specific need, and it's funny. I didn't know what to say because I felt like when we do these general things, no one ever goes to their friend generally for, we use them as examples, but in reality, most of us don't tell our friend a story that's really general about a body system. We're not even like, hey, I just think my digestion's really bad. Like, it's more specific. They're like, I cannot poop anymore before I start homeschooling my kids in the morning. Like, it's 9 a.m. and I still haven't pooped and I just feel horrible and I get bloated. It's more of a story like that. And like, to realize, like, it's more like that where it's like, I cannot figure it out. I'm drinking coffee, I'm doing yoga, and like, I just am having a problem pooping. And that leads you, like, I felt like what Niccole and I just did. And I'm sorry, I did not do the first one very well, Niccole, because you did that awesome. Because I told her something really specific. And what she gave me back were things that I wanted to know how to use them in general, because I don't know. I'm like, if I'm going to buy a quantity of something, I want to know what you do kind of with it. And it made me want to buy all those things I have in my house, but I'm like, oh, I'm going to have them for everyone in my life because everyone needs kind of first aid. Like, everyone needs those things in their wellness cabinet.
Yeah. And y'all, here's something that I do often. That if when you're talking to people and they're telling you, like, say somebody comes to you and who Robin's like, oh my gosh, my hormones are crazy and I'm a raging lunatic. I need help. Like, that's how most people talk to me. I think I just invite that into my world. Like, I'm pretty transparent, pretty vulnerable. So people are like, word vomit, right? Um, if I don't know that person well and they just kind of did this blanket statement of, I need help with my hormones. Like, key words here are tell me more. Tell me more about what this looks like in your world. Tell me more about how that's affecting your life. That second question will sell people. They will sell themselves on whatever happens next. How is that affecting your world? As a new mom, if you are missing sleep, how is that affecting your world? Well, by the time my husband gets home from work, I am moody, I am irritable, I am exhausted, I have no time for conversation with him. It's affecting our marriage. Like, I might not go that in depth with somebody I don't know well, but people will talk about how it's affecting our world. Ashley kind of touched on it. Her hands were hurt. She's not able to do things around her house. If she hadn't, I would have absolutely been like, tell me more about what this looks like, because I'm not there. I can't see Ashley's hands. And the more curious we get, the more curious we are about how these issues are affecting people, they will talk and sell themselves. Because then Ashley comes back to me and I'm like, well, Ashley did it with me. Let's use her example. She's like, Niccole, we've got to get you more sleep. Right. So I come back, I'm repeating the problem that she said back, back to her. So I'm saying, she's like, Niccole, we need to get you more sleep. Here's what you need. I'm like, yes. At that point, she's telling me my problem. She's telling me what I said. And I'm like, sell me whatever you want. You heard me. You're recognizing my issue. You see the problem that I have going on in my life. I need these products. So whether you're in a group session, a one-on-one, or you're doing this over voice memo or combo, whatever, online, asking people, how is this affecting your life? People don't come to us. It takes so much courage and so much vulnerability for people to, like, actually hit that send button when they're having problems, right? Because, like, oh man, especially in our culture where there's like this expectation that women have all their stuff together and we're Wonder Women and I can manage 5 kids and home educate and run 2 businesses and be like a dolled up wife. Obviously not true every day, right? But like, there's this expectation on us. So for me to be vulnerable enough to reach out to Ashley and say, hey, I don't have it all together and my baby's not sleeping and I feel like I'm failing as a mom to my other children, like, what do you have? Like, Ashley jumping in and giving me answers is what I'm looking for. So like, this idea that, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get people to spend their money, or I just feel bad like getting them to 100 PV. If you've ever been desperate with your health, you'll like spend all your money, right? You're like, take my money, like, I need help. And so again, those questions of tell me more about how this is affecting your life, and then showing compassion. Like, showing compassion based on what they said, y'all, that's like your biggest sales tool. And it's not even a sales tool, is it? Like, that's what we do when we're loving somebody. That's what we do when we're being a friend. And that's what this looks like across all platforms. It's just saying, like, man, I see your need. I want to meet your need. Let's do this. Okay. We didn't talk about this. I'm so glad that Dory's commenting. Dory, will you jump in? Because you've been doing this in like a vendor event style, like at a farmer's market's the word I'm looking for, not a vendor event. And you've been doing this model for a while. I know you shared last time, but based on what we talked about tonight, would you share like maybe a couple tips for people?
Yeah. I mean, it all starts in just listening. I mean, truly listening, asking questions, being empathetic. And then from there, I will tell you the in person does put a lot of pressure on you, which is kind of nice that we're forced into a bit more online because you do get to stop, take a breath, do some research. And I will always say, just business tool, let them know that you don't know the answers because you want them to feel like, oh, I don't have to know the answers. I can go to the answers. And then when I come back, I'm saying, hey, here's where I found the answer. So again, this is empowering them going in the future because I don't always want to be the one that they go to for all of that. But it's listening. I mean, right now, I have a lot of people that are coming to me with kids on the spectrum because I have a kid on the spectrum. And so it's taking these health plans that Niccole and I have been doing for years, and we've put in our books for years, these 3-month, 6-month health plans. And after listening, after I get excited about the products and I talk about my experiences and my stories with the products, they get excited about their possibilities. And then I say, okay, what's your budget? Because I think Niccole's point that she just made of, worrying about them spending all the money, that's not our worry. We're putting ourselves in their position, which is assuming is not what we should be doing. We have no idea what their budget is. I mean, they might want to spend $1,000 at once if that means they're going to have lots of options at their fingertips. So ask them, once you're excited, once you've gotten them excited, ask them, say, how much do you want to spend? How much do you want to spend each month? What would be that comfort level for you? And I'm usually very surprised at what the answer is. And then I can build a cart with them. So I don't know if that was exactly what you were looking for, Niccole, but I mean, that's what I do. And really what we've been talking about for weeks, have a couple of oils, have a lot of supplements, using that triangle. I mean, that's how you do it. And that's how I've been doing it for a year. And I've been enrolling people consistently during COVID. And it's all been, bringing people in online. And then I am doing some in person because I'm a bit of a rebel. So yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. I love that you touched on the budget part because we're kind of building on each other here. We can't assume that we know people's budgets. Like I said, if you've ever had a health crisis, you know that you're willing to spend money, or even if you're just wanting to get healthy or lose weight or get more fit, like it doesn't have to be a crisis. It could be everyday lifestyle stuff, right? And not assuming that, but I love that Dory mentioned how much you want to spend each month. You're already like planting that seed for subscribe and save. And like, hey, what's your budget? What does this look like? Like, this is a health investment. That's huge. I love, love, love that you touched on that, Dory. Okay, so we have like 12 minutes left from our allotted time. I am going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to walk y'all through these wellness triangles a little bit. These are not what you have to do. Again, I'm going to like really stress that. You don't have to use the products that I laid out or the lifestyle suggestions that I laid out. But I really think going forward with this model, getting yourself in the mindset of this wellness triangle is huge. It's gigantic. I know this is nothing new for most of you, but let's still take a look at the graphics that I created. And again, these graphics are fully customizable. So you can change the color, you can change fonts, you can change products, whatever you want to do with these, changeable, you've got it. So Ashley, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. So I can either hold up my phone and walk people through triangles.
Yep, give me 1 second. We're asking. Okay. So Stacy was kind enough that I'm pretty sure she logged in and made me the host because she's amazing. And so, yep, we're going to work on that right now. This is what happens when you have like a really generic, amazing Zoom link you share so that everybody can get in. If not, I will share them. Does that work while you're talking?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ooh, this is Anybody else like the pivot of life? Because the pivot is so good for me. It's such a reminder of just to be humble. Anybody else? You don't like the pivot? You're like, no, we do not. We like organized, go after it. Okay. Great. I haven't pulled up unless you are.
We're good. Do you want to share?
Perfect.
And this way nobody has to judge me for how many tabs I have open on my computer or how many unread emails. It's great.
Oh, just wait. Yep. I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh, my screen was not clean to share. Oh, and I have it shared in a really funky way. Let me see if I can make this better.
You can hit that side arrow, Ashley, that on the black part, hit that side and it will expand it over. There you go.
Okay.
So y'all, the basic like teaching here is the wellness triangle. I say this all the time. My biggest obstacle in coming into Young Living was hearing people like literally say, oh, it's okay if my kid eats 4 cupcakes. I'll just give him digest when I get in the car. Meanwhile, my family was on the GAPS diet trying to heal our gut. And I was like, really? Like, what makes you any different than a pharmacist? Like, here's an oil for this really like whatever. Side note there. But lifestyle is huge. Like you can't out supplement. I don't think you can out oil. I don't think you can out ditch and switch a bad lifestyle. That's not to say that your lifestyle has to be perfect in order to share Young Living or to even see results, right? It's this idea that as we begin to fuel the body with proper nutrition and we begin to get some of these toxins out of our life, then these lifestyle changes begin to happen, which we've all experienced, right? Like we get going on Super B or Ningxia and we start to feel a little bit more energized and suddenly like making dinner doesn't seem like such a huge chore or making healthier, diet decisions, right? So Ashley, if you'll scroll down a little bit, it's a little weird not having control. You'll see a couple. Most of these are double. Scroll again. I have one with a background and one with a plain background because the background is a little bit tricky to remove and I didn't want anyone to struggle with it. So here's just one example. This stay well is obviously immune support, right? I mean, you could get as specific as you wanted. So at the bottom, for lifestyle, I actually did tips: reduce stress, sugar, alcohol, work towards better sleep, exercise, meditation, and prayer practices. And then in that middle where the supplement is, I put Ningxia Red and Life 9. I want to caution y'all, if you were on the last call, these calls kind of have built on each other. Don't want to do like 10 or 15 products per category. Maybe choose 2 or 3 products per category so that you're not overwhelmed, so that other people aren't overwhelmed as well. So here, if a mama comes to me and she's like, every year my daughter struggles with bronchial spasms, then I'm going to address the nutrition there. I'm going to address the oils. I'm going to address the ditch and switch, getting rid of candles for a diffuser. Here's energy. Just more examples here of lifestyle, supplements, ditch and switch products, and then oils for energy. And scroll. Ashley.
I love that one because I feel like that's one that people come to us, and a lot of us don't feel like we're equipped to talk about it. So maybe that's not you, but I find that on our team, people don't feel equipped to talk about like endocrine system and energy because it's not something they think about often until they have someone ask them. So I just had to say that because I think Niccole and I probably talk about it a lot because we personally handle that with ourselves. What I mean is handle is deal with it. But I find that people who have never thought about that for themselves, it's not one they realize is so prominent. It's like a huge one, especially for people that appear to have it all together. Anyway, I'm sorry I had to interject that, but it's just so true.
Yeah, no, it's so very true. So y'all, like as you like scroll down again, that link is customizable. You can totally mess around with this. Make it your own. There's tons of examples here. So there's like babies and kids below. I forget what else is on here. I know that there's like sleep, there's focus, there's just a clean home if people want to go toxin free. Mental clarity or focus. And so all that to say, like, there's lots of different ways that y'all can use these. You could take this and you could put it into an Insta story, or you could put it in your group, which is my idea. Like going forward, having a theme each week in our oil user group where we're saying, okay, now I have 4 areas of focus that I can talk about. That's 4 different posts a week. If I'm talking about healthy emotions, right? So one post might be my lifestyle post where I'm talking about ways to reduce stress, right? And then second one, the second post might be cortisol, Life 9, Super B. Third post might be, getting rid of fragrance and replacing it for our essential oils, and then different oils for different emotional needs. And again, like you could teach an entire class off of this, like choosing 5 or 6 products per workshop and saying, this is what's, this is where we're going. And I can't talk about, healthy emotions without talking about how fragrance is destroying your endocrine system, which is what Ashley just talked about, right? Like we have to have these conversations and having a visual for people like, okay, I am not just telling you that an oil is going to fix you. One drop of an oil, like we earn people's trust the more we talk about lifestyle, the more we talk about supplementation, get into the root issues, the more we talk about swapping these things out. If we just put these broad statements out there, like, oh, just one drop will change your life. Maybe it will. I mean, maybe. But for most people, that's not most people's stories. Most people's stories are not just one drop of thieves changed my life, or, one drop of stress away changed my life. It may have helped one time, but most people are like, I need to try that again, right? They're a little bit skeptical. Is that going to work for me again? And so showing that we are truly a lifestyle company does more for the longevity of your business. It's not just about this oil one and done. It's about like, let's open up this conversation to really help you with these health goals. And that's what this triangle does. It helps you get in this mindset of that this is what we are working towards. No one's perfect. No one has it mastered. But goodness gracious, we get to figure this out and we get to bring our passions. And here's another note about these triangles. I don't think any person on this call, myself included, could teach all of these triangles really well and with excellence and know all the things. We all have passions that we care more about. Like, funny that pregnancy is up there for me. With my background in midwifery and as a doula and a childbirth educator and a natural family planning educator, I could talk all day long about pregnancy, right? A lot of people couldn't. Don't feel this pressure to teach all of these things all the time. Maybe choose 2 or 3 of these topics and learn those products well. When we talked about the top 15 products, right? Like learn 15 products well across 3 triangles, if that makes sense. And those worksheets that I created help you do that. So Ashley, I think we can stop screen sharing. If anybody has questions, we can open up our thoughts. We can open it up.
Niccole, when you're on a one-on-one situation with someone, Zoom or in person, and everything, I think pregnancy, babies, I think those are like 2 clear examples, but they ask you about something that's literally never an experience you've had. I'm not saying you personally, but if this is, I know sometimes for me personally, it's hard when it's examples of things I have never personally experienced, even on a small level. What I mean by that is, like, if someone talks about skincare, I'm not an expert, but I definitely take care of my skin, right? So I can speak to what I use. But I think, sometimes the really specific things. Just wondering if you have tips for anyone on how they can navigate that outside of, let me get back to you, but how they can navigate it really in the moment.
Yeah. 3 words. 3 words change everything. Tell me more. Tell me why skincare is so important to you. People will dump their guts out to you. They will. It happens every time. I'm interested in skincare because I had really bad acne growing up, or, my son has acne, whatever the case might be. Like, those tell me more. And then repeating back to them, wow, like that's really difficult. Or I can't imagine what life was, what it was like going through high school with really bad skin. Like, how did that affect you? How did that shape you? Right? Like, just being a friend, like, changes everything. It changes the game. It changes everything. And then to tell them, like, I want to help you live this, like, toxin-free lifestyle, this life, like, where we can get rid of these over-the-counter products, this over-the-product skincare. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm a part of a fantastic community who does. And I'm going to reach out to some people who have similar stories and similar backgrounds. And I'm going to ask them what they would recommend, because I don't want to waste your money and I don't want to steer you wrong in this. So would it be okay if I got back to you tomorrow? I've always had, and this is how I taught even my childbirth classes. If people ask me questions, about that, you earn people's trust more in saying, let me get back to you. I don't know. And not being a know-it-all. Like, people will trust that more than you just spewing out something that you have no clue what you're talking about. Or you're sitting there like, well, I don't know if it would work, but I heard frankincense is great. Or I don't know if it would work, but tea tree, like, Like, just be vulnerable and say, I don't know, but I'm always willing to help you find answers. And boom, like right there, like, wow, I have this person who's willing to walk hand in hand with me. And they now know that you're on this journey with them. So don't be scared to not know or to not have a story. I will say this, I do bring books with me. I do use compliant books when I'm teaching, and I'm being so honest, like in that. Dory and I have a book called The Essentials that we co-wrote together that covers a ton of different health goals. It's really cheap. It's like $3 and you buy it in a bundle. And I will open up that book and I'll be like, let's look together. Let's see what the recommendations are. Because I can't remember everything off the top of my head, even being 11 years into this, right? Like I forget things. And so don't be afraid to pull out an app on your phone or pull out a resource book and say, let's learn together and find this answer. It's another great way to navigate, not having all the answers. I'm going to go ahead and read Michelle's comment. I love it. She said, those have been some of the best conversations I've had with people when I can share testimonials from others on my team for things I didn't personally have experience with because they got a taste of the community. That is huge, y'all. And that's a huge reason to check into your group every single day and scroll through and to show up to Zooms and classes that I know Ashley and Tracy and I like that we offer, even if you don't think that the topic applies to you. If you're really committed to doing this as a business, making every single call a priority. I know that not everyone can make every call, but you hear what I'm saying. If you can make it a priority and take notes, and because you never know who's going to cross your path that needs the information that's being shared. So little note there.
I just love this all because as we kind of wrap up, I want you to think about the value you can add to others' lives. Like that is what I keep hearing every time Niccole talks. I'm like, the value she's adding is huge when she is speaking to them as a person and as a friend and listening. So the simple way I always think about, I'm not a great listener. I'm working on it every day. I don't know that I'm a great talker either, or a great communicator, but I just know that I tend to talk more than I listen, and I'm working on that. So when I'm with other people, I want to hear them enough that nothing about me is forming a response while they're still talking. And again, simple thing to say, hard to do. But what that allows me to do is I'm not already in my mind making up what decisions they need to say yes or no to based on the information they're giving while they're still talking. And sounds simple, but that's where we get those judgment pieces in about money or time or, and I say time because y'all realize a lot of times when we talk to people about what they should use, it requires an element of time, like diffusing, making a roll on, making a DIY product. So we kind of judge them like without even knowing it based on what we assume they can do. So I want to encourage you tonight and a little activity this week. And I know not everyone can do an in-person event in the next 5 days. That's fine. That's not what we're going to ask you to do. But I'm going to ask you to share in a way that's authentic to who you are in this business. So that could be doing a couple of Zooms with small groups. That could be doing one large Zoom. It could be a couple one-on-ones through FaceTime or Zoom. It could be an in-person coffee date, or it could be a class this weekend. Depends on your style. But I want to encourage you to try this, even though we are not yet in the formal way that Young Living is having us or allowing us to share as brand partners. Try it now. See how you feel. See what emotions rise up for you when you do something a little different. See what emotions rise up for you when you spend some time with these wellness triangles and you start tailor making them for you, as in what products you know are great in these areas. And as you speak and recommend, I will come to the assumptive conclusion right now that it will feel better. Like you'll be like, this is awesome. Like I told them for their kid that they really needed the Kid Sense collection. And they also really needed Mighty Bites, and that their kids would love Mighty Pro. Like I told them. And then when they tell you that they loved it, you're like, well, of course they did, because I was confident that that was a product that fit into that lifestyle option for that person. And it is just exciting. I think about, for me, how many times people ask me specifically, I could share other areas, but I think about like, yeah, fitness stuff. And I have like a really specific, like I have really specific things that I tell people they need. And when they get them and share back with me, it is a full on excitement because it increases their performance. So I want you in your head as you get off this call tonight to envision those people. If they're parents, if it's in their marriage and emotional capacity and ability, if it is focus and concentration, if it's clarity of thought, if it's hormones, if it's just cramps specifically, if it's helping with birth, if it's helping with calming a kid down, if it's helping them with dealing with a fussy toddler, like aging parents and all of the bed sores that they might be helping to heal, like whatever it is, specific scenarios where like, dude, I could be such a force for good. Well, you are a force for good and you were made to do this. And you were specifically put into the position of this transition with our business on purpose and for a purpose. And if you have the privilege of walking alongside in leadership, as in on her team with Niccole, please like honor the work she's put into designing this for us tonight. If you don't yet know her, yes, honor her, encourage her too. But I'm saying specifically her team, like this is what they get all the time. And I'm so just honored is the right word, to be her friend and to get to do this with her. And I want you to thank yourself for showing up tonight because this is not easy. And honestly, it's not super sexy. Like it's very like, let's figure it out. So thank you for showing up. We love you guys so, so much. We'll have a recording for you. And there's for sure more to come. So be on the lookout. Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much, Niccole, for all the resources and for guiding us tonight.